rupees for purchase of fencing and security equipment, and increasing the threshold from 250,000 rupees to 300,000 rupees for purchase of land mechanization equipment. Mr. Speaker, sir, to tap into the potential of the apiculture sector and reduce our imports, government will increase the one-off grant under the beekeeping scheme from 150,000 rupees to 200,000 rupees for fencing purposes, and the 50% subsidy on acquisition of solar-powered CCTV cameras, maximum of 25,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. Moreover, will give a subsidy of 500 rupees per bee queen to beekeepers up to a maximum of 10 queens. Finally, the DBM will extend its amnesty scheme to write off long outstanding loans of more than 20 years up to June 2025 and loans of deceased breeders, farmers and planters. As an island nation, fishing is part of our heritage. This government has always stood by the side of our fishers. We have been the first to consider the sustenance, financial independence, and retirement of fishers. This year, we'll further support this industry through a grant of 300,000 rupees to fishers for the purchase of cannot, a grant of 6 million rupees to cooperatives for the purchase of semi-industrial fishing boats, a grant of 1 million rupees to individual fishers for the purchase of semi-industrial fishing boats, increasing the grant for purchase of hooks and fishing materials from 2,500 rupees to 3,500 rupees, and materials to construct fish trap from 5,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees. Setting up modern fish markets in the region of Mayberg, Grand Bay, Baie du Cap, and Trou de Douce. Construction fisheries posts at Saint-Brandon for monitoring of bank fishers, and providing a one-off grant of 50,000 rupees to registered fishers for renewal of outboard motors. For the safety of fishers, we'll allocate 10 million rupees for the placement of marker buoys and install a second layer of fish aggregating devices across the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, 2 years ago we introduced a lump sum to artisanal fishermen aged 65 years and above returning their licenses. We are increasing it from 100,000 rupees to 125,000 rupees. For net fishers returning their fishing license, we are increasing the compensation from 1,000 rupees to 125,000 rupees for individuals, and from 200,000 rupees to 250,000 rupees for cooperatives. In the case of sudden death of the fisher, an amount of 200,000 rupees will be paid to hers. We are also increasing from 200,000 to 300,000 rupees the death grant provided to families of fishers lost at sea. Moreover, the DBM Limited will extend its amnesty scheme for the write-off of long outstanding loans of more than 20 years as at June 2025 and loans of deceased fishermen. We are further providing duty-free facilities to registered artisanal fishers for the acquisition of 4x4 vehicles. Finally, we are increasing the daily bad weather allowance for fishers from 650 rupees to 800 rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the manufacturing sector has been one of the most resilient sectors of our economy despite the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, increase in freight prices and labor shortages. The sector has recorded for the second consecutive year a double-digit growth. Last year it grew by 12.9% after a growth of 10.4% in 2022. Exports of goods have exceeded 100 billion rupees in both 2022 and 2023. Our aim is to reach 150 billion rupees of exports of goods annually. We'll provide a comprehensive set of measures to support our industrial base and boost our export industry. To boost the production and consumption of goods produced locally, government will introduce an Industrie du Futur program for 100 SMEs over a period of 3 years to enable them to digitalize their operations and facilitate the development of a distribution network of 10 retail outlets and mini stores across the island for made in Port Maurice products. Furthermore, the investment tax credit of 15% over 3 years will henceforth include AI and patents. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is equally essential for us to engage in a sustainable transformation of the export industry. We have to diversify our exports, improve our export competitiveness, and explore new market segments and destinations. A critical aspect of our textile industry is its competitiveness. Government will provide a support on the wage bill of the textile industry by compensating the increase in minimum wage and the salary compensation of 2024. We'll introduce export manufacturing regulations under the Economic Development Board Act, which will inter alia define an export manufacturing enterprise as having a minimum of 30% of export turnover. Set up an export promotion fund with a seed capital of 50 million rupees and provide for a public-private sector export development council to devise export strategies, including identification of products and markets. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Africa Warehousing Scheme has successfully enabled an increase in exports tenfold to reach 475 million rupees in less than 3 years. We are thus prolonging the scheme up to 2027 and expanding it to Kenya. To continue facilitating exports, the freight rebate, the trade promotion and marketing, and the export credit guarantee schemes are being renewed for an additional year. Moreover, first-time exporters with a turnover of less than 20 million rupees will benefit from an increased refund of 40% for a period of 1 year under the freight rebate scheme. The trade promotion and marketing scheme will now include New Zealand. To accelerate the decarbonization of the industrial sector, the carbon neutral loan scheme will henceforth include the cost of batteries. Finally, we'll extend the DBM wage support scheme over a period of 7 years up to 2031. Our country is engaged in substantial public investment with the construction of social housing, drains, roads, and other infrastructure projects. In addition, over 300 billion rupees of private sector investment is under facilitation at the EDB. To further reinforce the capacity of the construction industry, government will harmonize the fees for building and land use permits across all local authorities. Extend the validity period of a block for construction to start from 2 years to 3 years. Provide for harmonized timeframes for the determination of environment impact assessments and streamline the process to determine land conversion permits. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ICT BPO sector is a dynamic and resilient industry which catalyzes innovation and growth in the economy. The sector has grown consistently at an average annual rate of over 4%. Last year, it has registered a growth of 4.5%. To accelerate the development of this economic pillar, government will introduce a refund of 25% under the Small Business Digital Champion Scheme on investment of a minimum of 500,000 rupees in new technologies and equipment. A virtual platform to showcase motion IT services and an enhanced margin of preference of 50% for local service companies. Moreover, a 5-year blueprint for the digital industry will be devised. Mr. Speaker, sir, the development and spread of artificial intelligence across the world offer vast opportunities for Mauritius. It will enable us to improve our global competitiveness and productivity. We'll launch a national AI for All campaign to encourage the use of AI tools in schools, universities, businesses, and for the public at large. Moreover, training courses involving AI will be eligible to an increased refund of 90%. Finally, to accelerate the transition towards renewable energy, the CB will launch an ICT sector carbon neutral scheme with excess electricity exported at 4.20 rupees per kilowatt hour. Mr. Speaker, sir, the life science and biotechnology sector is a nascent industry that has the potential to become a key feature of our economic landscape. We need to provide necessary support to promote Mauritius as a hub for international players to set up their R&D activities. To strengthen innovation and growth in the sector, a Mauritius Biopharmaceutical Regulatory Authority will be set up. In order to attract international fertility centers to set up in Mauritius, an Assisted Reproductive Technology Act will be introduced to regulate and supervise reproductive technology clinics and assisted technology banks. Mr. Speaker, sir, the financial services sector is the first contributor to our GDP with a growth of 4.4% in 2023. To maintain the momentum and further expand the sector, payment intermediary services license holders will now benefit from the partial exemption regime. The fund and asset manager certificate will be reviewed to include at least 2 qualified officers. The funds regime will be reviewed to enhance the attractiveness of the jurisdiction. The blueprint for the financial services sector will be reviewed in light of new opportunities, challenges, and threats. A blueprint for the development of Mauritius as a fintech hub in the region will be devised with the assistance of the United Nations Economic Commissions for Africa. And the centralized EKYC will be extended to the global business sector. Furthermore, to consolidate the position of the Mauritius International Financial Center, will introduce a 10-year expert occupation permit to attract foreign talents in wealth management, family office, virtual assets, and virtual tokens, and explore the signature of a strategic partnership agreement with India and African countries. We'll further engage into discussions with the Indian authorities for the development of our financial sector. Moreover, a new framework for the secondary trading of government bonds will be established on the stock exchange of Mauritius. To encourage the adoption of digital payments in Mauritius, the Bank of Mauritius will remove the fees associated with the use of the MOCAS platform. Mr. Speaker, sir, according to the United Nations, the tourism industry in Mauritius has recovered at 94% of pre-pandemic levels compared to the global average of 88%. This shows the measures taken by government since the pandemic have borne its fruits. Indeed, tourism earnings in 2023 were 36% higher than in 2019, reaching 86 billion rupees. The country is attracting higher spenders and longer stay tourists. Our objective for 2024 is to reach 1.4 million tourist arrivals and 100 billion rupees of tourism receipts. To support the promotion and marketing of the Mauritius destination, the promotion and destination marketing budget of MTPA is being increased by 20% to reach 600 million rupees. The grant provided to SMEs for projects undertaken by small hotels associations is being increased to 800,000 rupees, and the amount under the participation in international fairs SME refund scheme is being increased to 275,000 rupees. To facilitate the utilization of pleasure craft by tourists and the public, jetties will be constructed at Trou de Douce and Black River. With a view to enhancing travelers' experience, government will fast-track the implementation of the e-gate and the e-passport. Mr. Speaker, sir, will continue to foster sustainable tourism development to make Mauritius a green certified destination by 2030. Last year, Belong Village achieved a significant milestone by earning a place in the esteemed Green Destination Top 100 Stories list. This year, the Tourism Authority will engage in the accredited certification process of Belong on the Global Sustainable Tourism Council to be completed by December 2025. Furthermore, the newly refurbished Cotton Bay Hotel in Rodrigue will open next month. Mr. Speaker, sir, arts and culture are central to our national fabric. Its impact goes beyond the economy, with the society at large benefiting. We need to transform the sector into a vibrant and thriving creative arts industry. Our unique local talents and artists can become the pride of Mauritius, both locally and abroad. Last year, government introduced a historic legislation to recognize the status of artists in our economy. Our first priority is to strengthen support to our registered professional artists. 25 million rupees is being provided to the Professional in the Arts Council for the financing of schemes and programs to support professionals in the art. To give due recognition to our renowned local artists, we launch an Artist of the Year award of 250,000 rupees. To showcase and market the artistic works of professionals in visual art, literature, music, audiovisual and digital media, dance and performing arts, and introduce an artist welfare fund to provide support to the professionals in the arts and their families. Furthermore, to facilitate an enabling environment for our artists, Companies supporting a registered professional in the arts will benefit from a double deduction on the cost incurred. Second, to encourage more youth to acquire professional training in the field of music and dance, the Artist Incubator Scheme will include mentoring of talents in traditional motion sega and Bhojpuri, and government will continue to meet the cost of international examination fees for diploma courses at the Conservatoire National de Musique François Mitterrand. Third, private investment in the development of the creative industry, including concert venues and theaters, will be eligible for a premium investor certificate with incentives on taxation, utilities, labor, infrastructure, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, our culture and our heritage are vastly enriching. We need to preserve and promote them. As part of the promotion of our ancestral heritage, we'll celebrate La Nuit du Sega at Le Monde in October 2024, an event last celebrated 60 years ago. Organize a conference on route of enslaved people in February 2025 to mark the 190th anniversary of the abolition of slavery, and launch the International Indentured Labor Route Project in May 2025. As part of the preservation of our cultural heritage, we are going to develop a cultural heritage district in the Apavasi Gad World Heritage Area to celebrate Mauritius' rich history, promote cultural exchange, and enhance visitor experiences. Undertake preliminary works for the setting up of an interpretation center, including a Marinage museum and craft market at Le Monde, and provide for the restoration of the Canal d'Ayo Aqueduct, Tower of Old Powder Mill at Pamplemousse, Windmill Tower at Belle-Rive, and Batterie de l'Harmonie at Les Salines. Socio-cultural organizations play a key role in promoting our cultural, linguistic, and religious values. Government will thus increase the grant for the organization of cultural activities to 10 million rupees and allocate funds for the construction of cultural centers over 4 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, the second strategy is to pursue our agenda of an inclusive and sustainable Mauritius. We'll incentivize local and efficient energy and water supply. We'll prioritize the climate agenda by promoting a circular economy, greening of our island, and conservation of our terrestrial and coastal landmarks. We'll ensure an inclusive tomorrow for our children by investing in their well-being, their education, and their safety. Mr. Speaker, sir, last year we set out a goal to make Mauritius a carbon-neutral economy, one based on clean, green, secure home-ground energy supply. We are acting fast to reduce our dependence on fossil fuel. Thanks to CB, renewable energy schemes, we have to date approved over 9,200 PV systems for installations in houses and businesses with a production capacity of over 250 megawatt of electricity supply. A government support agreement will be established to unlock over 15 billion rupees of private sector investment in renewable energy projects in the upcoming 2 years. To move our energy supply towards renewable home-ground sources, we aim to launch an agrivoltaic system to enable planters, farmers, and breeders to generate electricity at a premium tariff of 5 rupees per kilowatt hour. Introduce a community-based solar PV scheme for households within vulnerable localities who will benefit freely from 50 kilowatt hours of electricity monthly. Install 3,500 solar PV kits on rooftops of households, NGOs, as well as religious and charitable institutions. Revamp the net billing scheme to allow households to install batteries and sell any excess electricity generated to the CB. Increase the home PV scheme from 5 kilowatt hour to 15 kilowatt hour. Set up an additional 20 megawatt battery energy storage system at L'Avenir, and set up solar PV panels on rooftops of public buildings for a total capacity of 5 megawatt. Moreover, DBM Limited will increase the maximum loan amount for the purchase of solar kits and batteries by households to 350,000 rupees. In our efforts to phase out coal in electricity generation, the CEB will shift its production on biofuel in Mauritius and Rodrigues. To reduce energy consumption and improve on energy efficiency, minimum energy performance standards will be implemented for electric pumps, and DBM will implement an energy efficiency loan scheme for the implementation of energy-saving measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, 2 years ago we removed the excise duty on all electric and hybrid vehicles. The impact has been immediate. The share of sales of electric and hybrid vehicles has gone up from 24% to 46%. To further support the move towards the greening of our automobile fleet, the negative excise duty of 200,000 rupees for purchase of electric vehicles will be renewed up to June 2025. And the CEB will install prepaid public charging stations. Mr. Speaker, sir, rising sea levels, flash floods, unprecedented rainfall, and extreme weather conditions are today a visible outcome of climate change. We cannot remain insensitive whilst we see our pristine beaches being washed out, our coral reefs being destroyed, and our lagoons and forests being deprived of its lifetime. Our actions today have to be bold. This initiative cannot be done alone. It requires the collaboration of each and every one, government, business community, and civil society. To meet our adaptation and mitigation agenda, we'll have to mobilize some 300 billion rupees. This is why we are introducing a corporate climate responsibility levy equivalent to 2% of the company's profit. Companies with a turnover of less than 50 million rupees will be exempted from this levy. It will be used to support national initiatives to protect, manage, invest, and restore the country's natural ecosystem and combat the effect of climate change. A climate and sustainability fund will thus be set up to implement this agenda. The fund will further be open to donation from international organizations and individuals and will be managed by a joint public-private committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, 3.2 billion rupees is being earmarked under the Climate and Sustainability Fund for projects to address climate change. More than 37 kilometers of our coastline have been affected by beach erosion. During the next 5 years, we are restoring more than 26 kilometers of shoreline and rehabilitate some 30 degraded sites across the island. In the north, Troubiche, Pointe de Lascar, Grand Bay, Montchoisy, Bain-Bœuf, and Brado. In the south, Belle-Ombre, Riambel, Rivière des Galets, Saint-Félix, Blue Bay, Pointe d'Esny, Pointe des Régates, Bois des Amourettes, and Rivière des Créoles. In the east, Poste de Flac, Bellemare, Grand River Southeast, and Palmar. And in the west, Albion, La Preneuse, la Mi-Voie Riche-Noire, Rivière-Noire, Le Morne, Troucheny, La Prairie, Flic-en-Flac, Volmar, Le Monde Village, and Petit Verger. We'll invest in ecosystem-based adaptation remedial works on some 5 kilometers of shoreline at Bain-Bœuf, Montchoisy, Le Morne, Grand Sable, La Prairie, Grande River Southeast, and Baie du Cap. To do so, we are enabling sand extraction for beach nourishment. We'll introduce the concept of sustainable villages by promoting eco-friendly infrastructure, environmental conservation, and community resilience in coastal and touristic regions. To rebuild our marine ecosystem, we are launching a lagoon reseeding program. Furthermore, we'll implement a national coral reef restoration and replantation program, including establishment of 250 coral farms in Bellemare, Pointe-aux-Feuilles, Port-Louis Harbour, Troubiche, and Flic-en-Flac. Use of sustainable coral farming techniques to grow and transplant some 25,000 corals to degraded reef areas annually over 3 years, and installation of underwater cameras at coral farm sites to provide live video feeds. Oysters can act as natural water purifiers by filtering and removing pollutants. We are going to invite proposals from individuals and companies to set up oyster farms across the island. Moreover, companies will be issued a license for the cleaning of beaches through collection of algae and seaweeds for valorization into products such as fertilizers. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are engaging in a reforestation and tree plantation program across the island. Our aim is to increase the tree coverage by 100 hectares annually over the next decade. To do so, we'll make it mandatory for morcellement of more than 5 arpents, including smart cities, to allocate at least 4% of the total area for development of a mini forest featuring endemic trees. Invest and restore eco-sensitive zones having incomparable values due to its landscape, wildlife, biodiversity, and natural values. Plant trees on riverbanks, mountains, and in sites identified by village and municipal council. Rehabilitate and preserve endemic plants at the SSR Botanical Garden, and distribute trees for plantation to students in primary schools. Mr. Speaker, sir, cleaning, greening, and embellishment of our country is a critical and collective effort. The National Environment Cleaning Agency was set up under the aegis of the Prime Minister's Office to develop our national cleaning strategy. To achieve this strategy, funds are being provided for the cleaning of all primary and secondary roads, motorways, and lateral roads in towns and villages. 500 major public sites, including Grand Bassin, Aubouy, Rochester Falls, Viewpont Chamarel, Au-Bleu Falls, Marie-Reine de la Paix, Troucheny Trail, Dutch First Landing, Bassin des Esclaves, and Pas Géométrique de la Bonté, 100 highly visited beaches, and 500 kilometers of drains and water courses, especially in high flood-prone areas. NECA will recruit 2,000 employees to this end. Mr. Speaker, sir, We'll continue to promote a circular economy by encouraging recycling and reuse of products, by removing the levy on PET bottles for fully biodegradable plastic bottles, implementing extended producer responsibility for electronic and electrical waste, initiating source segregation of waste through distribution of bins at household level, and enabling the import of used tires solely for the purpose of retrading for exports. Waste has both an economic and an ecological value. 2 regional integrated waste processing facilities will be developed on a PPP basis to convert waste into compost and new materials. Furthermore, recycling will be classified as a manufacturing activity to enable companies to benefit from incentives. Mr. Speaker, sir, extreme weather conditions such as flash floods are being observed in unimaginable places, and no country is spared. Mauritius is no exception. This is why we need to invest in flood management program. This year we have earmarked 1 billion rupees to pursue the implementation of 132 drain projects of a total value of 3.5 billion rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, landslide works are crucial to enhance resilience of communities against natural disasters. It enables safer living environments for present and future generations. We are providing 178 million rupees for completion of landslide protection works, including stabilization works at Rivière des Créoles, Rivière des Anguilles Bridge and Chamarel, and slope stabilization works along Plaisance-Ferney Road at Rivière des Créoles. We'll further invest in flood and landslide mitigation works at Le Rocher, Crèvecoeur, Signal Mountain, Ruisseau du Pouce, Chitracout, and Quatre-Sœurs. Mr. Speaker, sir, climate change has not only affected the country in terms of flash floods, but we also witness prolonged periods of droughts causing stress on water supply. It is imperative to further increase our water storage capacity and improve our distribution network. 2.5 billion rupees is earmarked for existing and new water storage infrastructure. 1.2 billion rupees this year for the replacement of pipes across the island, including L'Escalier, Mayberg, Ferney, and Bambou-Verieux. 930 million rupees for the construction works of the Rivière des Anguilles Dams project as from December 2024. 345 million rupees for the construction of new and upgrading of existing water treatment plants in regions including Mont Blanc, Piton du Milieu, and Pont-Lardier, and commissioning of the service reservoir at Alma and Nouvelle-France by August 2024, with a total capacity of 5,500 cubic meters to serve around 4,000 households. Mr. Speaker, sir, access to water supply is a basic need. It should be seamless, efficient, and swift. Henceforth, a person applying for a water connection will be connected within a period of 30 days, subject to all requirements being met. When the network of the CWA needs to be extended, the full cost of this expansion was borne by the household. As from 1st of July 2024, 50% of the cost will be incurred by the CWA. In government's efforts to improve sanitation across the island, some 1.1 billion rupees will be invested for the implementation of sewerage infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government has, during its mandate, invested massively in the construction, upgrading, and extension of our road network, easing the flow of traffic in many regions, such as the KD flyover, which is operational since May 2023, the new link road connecting La Vigie and La Brasserie, the new flyover at Saint-Pierre, the Verdun and Bois-Chéry bypasses, the new bridge at Baie-du-Tombeau, and the Sage Bridge, linking Coromandel and Sorèze, and which is operational since March 2024. This year, we'll invest 3 billion rupees for completion of existing projects, including upgrading of roads at Bel-Air, Holyrood, Vaqua, Wotton, Taillac, and at Constance near the new FLAC Teaching Hospital, construction of road bypasses at Flic-en-Flac and Hermitage, construction of flyovers at Wotton, Terre Rouge, Eben, and La Vigie, construction of a new roundabout at Goodlands, upgrading of the Roussel Bridge at Grand River Northwest, construction of a new footbridge on M1 at Trianon, and construction of the new link road connecting La Brasserie to Bossonge, to Pierrefonds roundabout, and to Cascavel. Government will engage in new road projects, including construction of new flyovers at La Bourdonnais on motorway M2 and Canfoucro, construction of a new link road connecting Britannia to Rivière des Anguilles, and new motorways M4 in the east and M5 in the south. ₹600 million is being earmarked for the rehabilitation, maintenance, and upgrading of roads across the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, we'll revamp, upgrade, and further equip our social welfare and community centers. 46 social welfare centers will be upgraded into evacuee centers to be used as refuge during national calamities. The social welfare centers at Montaille-Haury, L'Almaty, Bel-Air Rivière Sèche, Petite Julie, and Saint-Pierre will be reconstructed. We are providing more facilities to our citizens to improve their quality of life across the island. These projects include the upgrading of 4 basketball pitches at Chamarel, Villemain, Riambel, and Trèfle, 2 markets at Plaine-Magnan and Mayberg, 2 health tracks at Dubreuil and Bois-Chéry, 5 green spaces at Balfour Garden, Coromandel, Montroche, Rosil, and Britannia, 2 5-a-side football pitches at Résidence Saint-Luc and Résidence La Brasserie, 6 municipal centers at Vaqua, Route Militaire, Rochebrune, Chebel, Beaubassin, and Morgravier, 6 multipurpose complexes at Cascavel, Grande Rivière Noire, Triolet, Midlands, La Flora, and Rivière des Anguilles, and 8 sport complexes, 47 children playgrounds, 34 football grounds, 30 outdoor gyms, 20 mini soccer pitches, 15 indoor gyms, 8 volleyball pitches, 32 village halls, and 24 cremation grounds and cemeteries. In addition, 8 new health tracks, 16 new children's playgrounds, and 9 new pétanque courts will be constructed across the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, public transport is part of our greening strategy to reduce carbon emissions. Hence, continuous support will be provided to our transport system. The Metro Express project now connects QPIP to Port Louis and has been extended to Eben and Réduit. The next phase of extension will include La Vigie, Saint-Pierre, Côte d'Or, and Immigration Terminal. We'll further develop a master plan to connect the Metro Express to the north, south, east, and west. To maintain the price of bus fare, government is going to pay the compensation for the additional remuneration 2024 for the bus industry and extend the bus modernization scheme for the purchase of buses up to June 2025. For taxis, we are increasing the once-in-a-lifetime VAT exemption on purchase of a car by 20% to 120,000 rupees. Moreover, taxi owners will be able to form a company for the transfer of their license to their heirs, and the process for temporary drivers will be streamlined. Furthermore, DBM will provide a loan for taxis of 2.5% over a period of 7 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, education is the cornerstone of our progress and prosperity. We'll continue to invest in our education system, school infrastructure, and our students through the provisions of pre-primary education scheme will further provide for compensation equivalent to rental payment for use of building. We'll continue to support special education needs students to benefit from equal opportunities. As announced last year, we have reviewed the grant in aid formula for assistance to SEND schools. We are therefore increasing the provision by 10% to 330 million rupees. Government will continue to strengthen our education system to ensure that no one is left behind. First, we'll provide 250 million rupees for the construction, upgrading, and maintenance of school infrastructure at pre-primary, primary, and secondary levels. Second, we are revamping the scholarship schemes to make them fairer and to ensure that all students receiving a scholarship